The French netting basque is one way to edge up your bridal look. It's a small piece of French netting fabric, but it has a unique spin and a large impact in your bridal look. I love seeing this in black with a white dress. It's incredibly edgy and it looks really cool for those brides who are a little bit offbeat. So the supplies are really limited on this one. It's just French netting. I'm going to be using black French netting and some button loops in black, and that's about it. All the supplies will be in the description below, so I'm going to dive in and show you how to make this tiny but mighty veil. The first step for actually making your mask is really simple. I'm going to have you take a tape measure, and what you're going to do is you're going to go from behind one ear, and then you're going to go all the way over. It's going to go over your eyes there, so it'll be a little awkward, to the other side. I want you to make it a loose fit. So when you're doing it, you don't want it to be tight against your face. You're just going to kind of make it real loose, and then you're going to get a measurement out of that. I have 16 on mine, so that's how wide our cut is going to be. So I'm going to take you to the cutting board here. I flipped it over. It's usually black, but because I'm actually using black netting because we're doing a little edgy look, I thought it would be fun to just kind of flip it over so you can actually see the netting I'm cutting. So I basically have this is a 9 width French netting, and they also call this Russian veiling, and I'm going to cut a 16-inch piece off of this. So you'll need your netting, you're going to need a yardstick, a rotary cutter, and this is button loop. I got black button loop. I'm going to use some Fabric-Tac glue, some invisible thread, and scissors. That's all it's going to take to make this beautiful little veil, and this has an enormous impact. I've used this in a lot of photo shoots. It's been requested many times to be shot professionally. It's a very, very cool, small but chic veil. All right, now I'm going to cut 16 inches. All right, the next step, if you'll notice when you take it off a bolt or if you get it from the fabric store, you're gonna have a little bit of a crease there. I'm gonna go iron that out real quick so that we can make sure this is nice and flat. I have it all ironed up, and I also grabbed some crystals because I think that would be kind of fun to put those on there. Now, when you're looking at your netting, sometimes you'll get it at the store and you'll find that there's some imperfections in the netting, and I don't see any. Just kind of look it over. See which side is the best one, because we're going to be using this edge. Okay, so here's a good example. So right here, you'll see this got a little deformed. And you can sometimes iron this part out right here, but since we're not using both of the edges, I'm going to use the edge that's the best. And this edge is really nice. We're only going to keep one of the edges. I have my 16-inch piece of netting cut. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a 3-inch cut on that one, using the edge that we picked that was the best. And I'm going to show you how to clean that up and make it look beautiful and clean and perfect. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to cut a 3-inch width piece. This will be your mask when we're done with it. And what I'm going to try to accomplish is catching, let me get my scissors. I want to make sure that the 3-inch mark has all of the dots lined up perfectly. So make sure as you're lining this up that you have dots that are all on that same 3-inch line, because we're going to be cutting up to those. And if it's all jiggy-jag or off-centered, it's not going to look as good. And I'm going to go just over that 3, just a slightly over, because I want to preserve those little dots. And I'll show you what I mean as soon as I cut. And don't throw that away. This would make a great bandeau. This would make a great thing for a hat. This could be great for a tuft behind a fascinator. So keep that, it's fun. And now, as I mentioned, we were trying to preserve the dots. So looking at the netting here, you can see that I have the dot. These are the dots we're going to preserve, and that's going to be all the way down. And actually, since we cut a little over, this is the dot we're going to preserve. And you're going to do that by cutting right up to that dot like this. Do a couple here so you can see what I'm talking about. You see that dot, how I preserved it? It's going to line up perfect because I made sure while I was cutting that that's what those lined up on that line there. And I'm just going to go all the way down the edge of this. All right, now that that's done, I'll kind of move all our shrapnel out of the way. There's always shrapnel with millinery. Now we're going to go and clean up this edge. Now on this, a lot of times you'll see, and let's see if we can see it. Yep, right there, there's a little hair. This comes off of the machine like that. This needs to be trimmed off. In my professional opinion, it looks very bad. So it's so simple to do too. You just go in there, and they're hard to see, especially, you know, how thin they are. They're just like little basic little hairs. And you just go and clean those up all the way down. Now keep in mind, bridal is not always ivory or white. I've done a lot of color in my day. And what is so much fun about adding color to your bridal attire, whether it be with fascinator or just a little bit of netting, it just adds that personality touch. Just keep in mind, this is your wedding, this is your veil, and you just have fun and do exactly what you want to do. That really expresses your personality, because it's not something you wear every day. It's hard to express yourself when you're shoved into a bridal mold, but you can break the mold and do something unique like a mask. All right, now that we have the little hairs all cut off, we'll move those out of the way as well. I'm going to go ahead and do some of the embellishment now before we gather both sides. And I'm just going to put a few here and there, and I always kind of mindful of the eye, nose areas. I don't want to land one there. So we're going to just be very scant about it. And I'm just going to add a few. We've got a clogged up vessel. And since the bride is going to wear it with the edge down, you can wear it both ways. It looks really cool with the edge down. I sometimes like to land a few down at the bottom. Right on the edge, kind of looks fun. And you can double side it, but since this doesn't really flip, it's not necessary to double side them. Do one up here. And these are just basic flat back rhinestones that I got at the craft store. You can get them on Amazon or other places. It's just a flat back rhinestone, and they have them in Swarovski in different colors. There's jet, there's rose, so have fun. Now that we've embellished it a little bit, it's got some sparkle on it, which makes me happy. I'm sure it makes you happy too. We're gonna now take and gather the sides. And I'm taking invisible thread with a really small, I think this is a 10 or 11 needle. And what we're gonna do is through those little dots on the side here, I'm going to go ahead and, it's a little hard on this one because this dot is mushed. Go through the dot, the first one, tie your knot. So you're gonna go back through, make a loop and tie a knot. And then we're just going to basically weave back and forth. And I like to weave the dots because then they land perfectly next to each other, and it just has a better look as it lays down on that button loop. And then go ahead and knot that. Trim off those little particles there. Okay, you're gonna find different button loops. This one is the one I've had forever. In fact, this is all I have left of black. And I'm just gonna cut 3 loops, cut 2 of those. I want it to be at least able to fold in on each other, and I'll show you what I mean here in a sec. And since we do have a front and a back, this is going to be turned this way. I'm going to go this way. Put a little glue. I left the needle and thread on, so now I'm going to go through, sew that in once, and then twice. I'm now going to put glue again on both sides. And I'm going to sandwich that over so that we can see that we're not stacking the loops. And that way bobby pins can go in there. You can stick a fascinator over there, but these little bobby pin loops will fit into any hairstyle. You just tuck them into your hairstyle and they disappear. Now, if you are a blonde and you want to have a black veil like this, but you don't want the little loops to be black, you can do them in all different colors. Whatever helps the bobby pin loop thing to disappear, get the color that works for you. And another fun thing is you can actually bead these. That's a lot of fun too, so that they're all finished. It's up to you, it's your party. All right, let's do the other side. Wasn't that easy? You learned how to make a French netting mask with a scrap of French netting. Now, if you would like to have a little fascinator to go with this veil, Check out my playlist, Fascinated by Fascinators, so you can find a little accent to go with this little tiny but mighty veil. See you later. Thanks for dropping in.